So, good morning everyone. We'll continue with we discussed about power resources. So, we were basically discussing about conventional source of energy. Chapter 4, Minerals and Power Resources. Minerals and power resources. In this, we have already discussed minerals. Mineral is complete, power resources we are doing. So, power resources can be divided into conventional source of energy, non-conventional source of energy. Conventional is which we are following using from very long period of time. That is conventional. Understood? So, we already discussed about firewood, right? Firewood and coal. Coal also we discussed. Now we will discuss about petroleum. We will discuss about petroleum. Okay. So petroleum is also called crude oil. It is also called crude oil. And how is this extracted? So it is extracted by drilling. We already discussed in the first topic. By drilling, it is extracted. So it is drilled out. Okay, and after drilling, it is sent to refineries. And in the refineries it is processed. So processing is done, and then if you see, you will get the products. Okay, so what products you will get once this is done, processing is done? So you will get diesel, petrol, then you have kerosene, then you have wax, then you have plastic and lubricants. So these all products you get from the petroleum. Understood? So how is done? It is done in on the ocean bed. Suppose this is ocean. On the ocean bed, here you will have petroleum. Okay. So it should be drilled. It will be drilled, and after drilling it will be extracted and it will be sent to the refineries. Okay. It will be sent to the refineries. So there, if you see, in these refineries, these petroleum will be processed. Okay, when it will be processed, you will get the products which you can use. So products are diesel, petrol, kerosene, wax, plastic, lubricants. These all things you get from the petroleum. Understood? And it is also called crude oil. Now, this is also called black gold. Now, why is this called black gold? When you see crude oil, it is black in color. Okay, it is a very black, thick product. Okay, it is black and thick, and that is black in color. That is why it is called black. Why it is called gold? It is called gold because if you see, because of its value. Now, if gold is very expensive. Like if you see in India, as we already discussed, we have less gold. Only one Kolar mine is there where we get gold, and that is also very deep. So it is very expensive to extract that. So gold is very high, very expensive, and that is why. And petroleum is also having high value. It is also expensive. That is why it is called black gold. Black because of color, gold because of its value. Understood? Next is major producers of this black coal or crude oil or petroleum. So you have Iran, then you have Iraq, then you have Saudi Arabia, then you have Saudi Arabia. So these countries are the major producer of petroleum. Understood? Now, if you see in India, where do we have this petroleum? So it is in Digboi in Assam. Okay. Then you have Bombay High. Right, Bombay High also you will get it. And others are also there, but the major one is Digboi and Bombay High. Understood? So this is what basically petroleum finished. Now we have natural gas. Next we have natural gas. Mostly it is found with petroleum deposit. Mostly found with petroleum deposits. Okay. If you see, I said mostly it is found with petroleum deposit. That doesn't mean always it will be found with petroleum deposit. What happens? What is the process of this natural gas? If you see, ocean bed is there, right? From here, if you drill, you will get petroleum. So basically, here you will have in the oceanic crust. In the oceanic crust, you will have the petroleum. Yes. After this crust, what do you have? You have mantle and core. Mantle and core. And what do you have under the crust? Basically, you have molten magma. You have molten magma. This molten magma have very high temperature. The molten magma is having very high temperature. So as you go inside the earth, the layer of the earth, you have, as you go beneath the earth, you will find high temperature. As you go down, the temperature will increase. Okay. Okay. So, yes. So as you go under the earth, the temperature will increase. Okay. In that case, if you see, if water is boiling, suppose you would have seen water boiling at your home. So if water is boiling, you have utensil, you will boil water in the utensil. So that utensil layer, suppose it is crust. Okay. Above that, you have water. Suppose the water is like petroleum. From downwards, magma is having a lot of heat, lot of temperature, right? So it will give the heat. So when this petroleum, suppose this is the petroleum and this is a petroleum, right? That is semi-liquid form. And here you have molten magma. here under this you have molten magma which is giving it heat, which is giving heat. So what will happen when water is boiling and heat is there under the water? What is there? The vapor will be there, the steam will be there, water will evaporate, no? So basically that is natural gas. If you see here, when molten magma will give heat to this petroleum, semi-liquid form petroleum, there will be extraction of gas, right? And that is basically the natural gas. Understood? So what happens sometimes here when you see when you keep boiling the water, what will happen? It keep evaporating and at the end you will see there is no water in the utensil. Yes or no? The same happens here. Sometimes what happens, we get natural gas but we do not get the petroleum there. So why is it so? Because all petroleum has been evaporated. Only the natural gas has been remained. So in that case, sometimes we get natural gas but we do not get petroleum. Understood? But mostly the natural gas is found with the petroleum deposit. If natural gas is found somewhere and there is no petroleum deposit, that means petroleum deposit was there earlier, but now it has been evaporated. Understood? I think this point is clear. Now, natural gas is domestic as well as industrial fuel. That means and for the domestic purpose also it is used, and in the industries also this is used. Who are the producers? These are the producers, which are the places where you will find. So you have Russia, you have Norway, then you have UK, then you have Netherlands. Okay. So these things are there. Then it is in India, if you see, Jaisalmer, then you have Krishna Godavari Delta, then you have Tripura, etc. So in these places you will find the natural gas. Understood? So natural gas is also finished. Then we have hydrogen. That is the next one. Okay, so next is hydrogen. Okay. Now, how hydel energy is produced? So, basically, water in dam is used to produce electricity. Now, so we will understand this first, this process. Suppose here you have dam. Okay, this is the dam. This is the dam. Okay. Water is coming from this side. Okay, this side you have water, and this dam is blocking the water. Understood? Now, on the side of the dam, they make water reservoirs. Water reservoirs are made so that the water which has been blocked, that can be stored in these water reservoirs. Understood? Now, when this goes on certain level, they open the dam, right? They block the water by making the dam. No, that is their main purpose. So they build the dam, they block the water here. Okay. Now the water, they will move it to water reservoirs. They will store the water into water reservoirs. Now when it goes up the certain level, they open the dam and they let the water go. Right, but here you see the water, it has been stored. Now, if you see, here they will make some turbine. Here they will make some kind of turbine which will rotate. Understood? When water will go, I need to make it that side. Otherwise, you cannot see anything. Let me do that side. Okay. If I make it here, you will see. So like this, it is dam. Okay. We have dam like this. Okay. Then you have water reservoirs like this. They have built water reservoirs. Okay. So here water is there, and water has been blocked with the dam. It is not letting it go down. Now water is being preserved here. This water will flow from here, and here they will put turbine. Okay. So when this water will go, the turbine will rotate. Turbine rotates when water moves. Okay. When water moves, turbine rotates. When turbine will rotate, heat will be produced. Okay. When turbine will rotate, heat will be produced. Now, when this heat will be produced through the wire, it will move to some kind of grid. Okay. Some kind of grid. Here it will be grid system. Grid system. These are wires. Okay, so from the wire, it will move to the with the help of generators or transmitters. So with the help of generators or transmitters, with the wire, it will be moved to grid system. Now here it will be changed into the hydroelectricity. Understood? There will be some grid system which will change this heat into the hydroelectricity. And then from here, if you see, it will go to the, you would have seen towers, right? You would have seen towers near to your house somewhere, so it will be supplied to the towers. From one tower to another, it will be supplied. So like this, hydroelectricity is generated. So if you see, the water is being blocked by building a dam. This water will be reserved here. Okay. Now when it will move from this turbine, the heat will be produced. This heat, with the help of generator and transmitter and wire, will be connected to the grid system. So with the help of generator or transmitter, it will be transmitted to, it will be moved to grid system. Here it will be changed into the hydroelectricity, and this after that will be transferred to the towers, okay, which you have, electricity towers. That's right. One more thing, here you will have one canal also. Here you will have one canal also. So the excess water, the water which is moving the turbine, this will not go here, no? Through the water, through the wire. Where will water go? So water will go out. It will move the turbine and it will go through the canal. This canal agricultural fields. Understood? This water from canal will go to agricultural fields and it will be later used for irrigation, also for domestic purpose. Understood? For domestic purpose also this water will be used. So I hope you understood this one. This all hydroelectricity generation. Now there will be no confusion in this. Okay. Now, okay, 1/4 of world electricity is produced by hydropower. So whatever electricity is used in the world, 1/4 of that, 1/4 of world's electricity is produced by hydropower. So the hydropower is basically the power which you generate from the water, the electricity which you generate from the water, that is hydropower. Otherwise you can generate electricity with the wind turbine also, if you see. Understood? With the wind turbine also you can generate electricity, right? That we will read further in the chapter. So here we are discussing about hydroelectricity. So hydroelectricity is produced by the water. Understood? Now where are these done? The major places where hydroelectricity is being produced. So those are Paraguay, Norway, Brazil. Okay. Then you have India. Then in India you have Bhakra Dam. Then you have Gandhi Sagar. So these are the places where hydroelectricity is produced in India. Understood? So with this hydroelectricity is also almost done. So if you see, if you compare hydroelectricity with this fossil fuels like coal, petroleum. So coal, petroleum, if you say, they basically create a lot of pollution. When they are burned, they release many pollutants. Okay, so they release a lot of pollution. They are not environment friendly. But when we talk about hydroelectricity, no such pollutants are released, and hydroelectricity is environment friendly. That means it does not harm the environment. Understood? Now we will discuss about non-conventional resources. Understood? Non-conventional sources of energy. Now, if you compare other terms, you can see this coal, petroleum, whatever fossil fuels we have, those are non-renewable resources. You cannot renew this. Understood? It takes millions of years to renew those energies, to form those fuels. So you cannot renew it. Okay, so that should be conserved. Basically, conservation is the method to save that. But if you say hydro, that is renewable resource, right? Water is not going to end, and that is why it is renewable resource. Understood? So this point also you need to keep in mind. non-conventional sources of energy. So, non-conventional means which we are using for a long period of time. But non-conventional is which has been recently, from recent time it is being used. Okay, not very long period of time. Understand? So, first is solar energy. Solar energy is the energy which we get from sunlight and we use. That is solar energy. Right? So, sun's heat and light is used. Sun's heat and light is used in the solar energy. Then you have solar cells produces energy. So basically what happens in this, there are cells with the help of sunlight, sun heat and light, those batteries, those cells get charged, right? And then that is used. They change it into the required energy. Understood? And like that, it can be used. Now, if you see, the solar energy is beneficial in tropical countries. For tropical countries, it is very beneficial. Now, what is tropical countries? So, here you have our equator, 0-degree equator, Tropic of Cancer, then Tropic of Capricorn. So, this is the tropical region. Now, why this tropical region? Because equator is the area which gets the maximum sun rays. So this area gets the, if sun is like this area gets the maximum sun rays. Understood? This area gets the maximum sun rays, and if you see this area, and as it moves to pole, when it will move to pole, it decreases. Understood? So the tropical region is the region which gets the maximum sun rays and heat. That is why it is they are saying that the tropical region people can use solar energy. It is beneficial for them because they get the maximum sun rays and sun's heat and light. Understood? Okay. Now, in what forms we use? So we use solar cookers. We get solar cookers. Now we also get solar heaters. We also get solar dryers. There are traffic signals which works because of solar energy. Understood? So there are traffic signals which work with the solar energy. Okay, they will take the heat, they will charge the battery will be charged, and they keep working. Understood? So the solar energy is there, that is also we have discussed. Is there any question anyone till now? Anyone is having any questions till now? Okay. Any question? Anyone? Class 8? Then you have wind energy. So, if you see wind energy, it is inexhaustible form of energy. Now, when we talk about inexhaustible form of energy or renewable energy, you will have solar energy, because that is also inexhaustible. You cannot exhaust it completely, or it is renewable. That means you can generate it in every time. It is not going to exhaust. Understood? The same is for hydel energy. Hydel energy is also inexhaustible, because water will be available every time, and we cannot exhaust the water completely. Understood? So like this, if you see, these are inexhaustible form of energy. Okay. Now, wind energy. So in this, what happens? High speed wind rotates windmill and connected to generators. Okay. So what is the process? You will see high speed windmills. Windmills will be there like this. Windmills will be there, and this with the wind. When wind will blow with the speed, this windmills will be rotate. It will rotate. It will be connected with the generator, and the wind energy will be changed into the electricity. The electricity will be produced like this. Understood? The same, it is the same way. If you see, the turbine was moving in the hydel electricity and it was producing heat, and with the generator and transmitter we used to send it to grid system, and there it was changed. The same happens here also. Understood? The thing is, there turbine was moving with the water. Here the windmills are moving with the wind. Okay, but the other processes are, if you see, it is similar. Okay. Now, by this you can mostly produce electricity in the coastal areas or mountains. Coastal areas or mountains. So you may ask that why we cannot do this, why we can only do this in coastal area and mountain. So what do we need? We need high speed wind. These high speed wind will be there in the coastal areas or mountain areas. Understood? Everywhere you will not get this high speed wind. So the coastal areas and mountain areas, there every time there is wind, high speed winds are blowing, and that is why you can generate energy with this wind system in the coastal or mountain areas. Okay. Now, if you see, it is bit expensive if you compare it to solar system and all. In solar system, you don't need to just do other connectivities. You need to just set up the solar panel and it will be done. Understood? But here you need to you need big land area. There you need to put the windmills. So if you see, it is bit expensive if you compare to other source of energies, like you have solar energy. Okay. Where do you find it? So in India, if you see it is in